Why did my child stop speaking to me? For a lot of parents, that question feels impossible to understand. You changed their diapers. You fed them. You sacrificed for them. You worked long hours to provide for them. You worried about them. You protected them. You loved them. And then one day, the calls stopped. The messages became shorter. The visits became less frequent. Or maybe they disappeared completely. No explanation. No closure. Just silence. And naturally, many parents ask themselves, what did I do wrong? Sometimes, the answer is nothing. Not every estranged child is running away from abuse. Not every parent is toxic. Life is complicated. People move. People get busy. People get married. People start families of their own. Sometimes distance grows gradually without anyone intending it. But let's be honest. Sometimes there is a reason. And the difficult part is that the reason may not be obvious to the parent. Because parents and children often remember the same childhood very differently. A parent remembers providing food. A child remembers feeling unheard. A parent remembers discipline. A child remembers humiliation. A parent remembers trying their best. A child remembers being afraid to make mistakes. Both memories can exist at the same time. That's what makes these situations so painful. Intent and impact are not always the same thing. A parent can genuinely love their child and still leave emotional wounds behind. Not because they were evil. Not because they wanted to cause harm. But because human beings are imperfect. Sometimes parents repeat behaviors they learned from their own parents. Sometimes they mistake control for guidance. Sometimes they think criticism is motivation. Sometimes they believe providing financially is enough while overlooking emotional connection. And often, they don't realize the damage until years later. But before we assume the parent is at fault, we should also acknowledge another reality. Children grow into adults. And adults make their own decisions. Some adult children cut contact because of unresolved pain. Others cut contact because of influence from a spouse. Others because of family conflicts. Others because they simply want distance. Not every estrangement is justified. Not every estrangement is unfair. Every situation is different. That's why asking, why did my child stop speaking to me, is often the wrong starting point. A better question might be, what experience did my child have of me that I may not fully understand? That's a harder question. Because it requires curiosity instead of defense. It requires listening instead of explaining. It requires accepting that your child's version of events may be different from yours. And that doesn't automatically mean they're lying. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is immediately defending themselves. I did my best. I put food on the table. I sacrificed everything. And those things may be true. But they don't answer the question being asked. A child can appreciate your sacrifices and still be hurt by your behavior. A child can love you and still need distance from you. A child can recognize your struggles and still carry pain from the way they were treated. Those realities are not mutually exclusive. Now, if you're a parent whose child no longer speaks to you, there is another difficult question worth asking. If they called you today and told you exactly why they left, would you listen? Or would you immediately start defending yourself? Because sometimes reconciliation begins when someone finally feels heard. Not corrected. Not challenged. Not argued with. Heard. And maybe that's the tragedy of many broken family relationships. Both sides are waiting for an apology. Both sides feel misunderstood. Both sides believe the other person should make the first move. Meanwhile, years pass. Birthdays pass. Holidays pass. Lives pass. And eventually, opportunities disappear forever. So why did your child stop speaking to you? The truth is, nobody on the internet can answer that question. Only your child can. But if you genuinely want to know, the first step may not be explaining your side. The first step may be creating a space where they feel safe enough to explain theirs. And maybe that's the most important thing to understand. When a child stops speaking to a parent, the silence didn't start the day communication ended. In many cases, it started years earlier. With conversations that never happened. Feelings that were never expressed. Or pain that was never fully understood. And that's exactly why we're starting this series. Every week, we'll hear a different story. Not from experts. Not from therapists. Not from commentators. But from the children themselves. Real experiences. Real perspectives. Real reasons. Some stories may break your heart. Some may make you angry. Some may challenge everything you thought you knew about parenting. And some may help you understand your own child a little better. Because the goal isn't to blame parents. The goal isn't to attack mothers or fathers. The goal is understanding. Because you can't solve a problem you don't understand. So if you've ever found yourself asking, why doesn't my child call me anymore? Why are they distant? Why do they seem cold toward me? Then this series is for you. Starting next week, we'll begin hearing directly from the children. Their experiences. Their memories. Their reasons. Their side of the story. So, watch out for the series. Why did I stop talking to my mom and dad? You may hear something you've never heard before. And it just might change the way you see your relationship forever.